Guys, what's up? It's Darkmech here and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to show you how to get the Lucid Nightmare mount, and it is a fucking nightmare. I will put it straight out there. Probably one of the worst experiences I have had in game to date, but at the same time it was sadistically enjoyable. So I'm going to walk you through this, try and make it easy as possible. So our first step takes us to New Dalaran, Curiosities and More. It's at 7271. You're going to run in the store, run up the left stairs, and on the table up here there is going to be an inconspicuous note. Click on that and you're going to get your first clue, which is it begins in the 2104059 with a most pleasing sign. These letters will not always rhyme. Now this was an anagram for the release date of Ulduar, which was on the 15th of April 2009 back in Wrath of the Lich King. So this points us to our next step. So we need to head over to Ulduar, which is in Northrend. So head to Old Dalaran, then you're going to fly over to the Storm Peaks, and Ulduar is up the top in Northrend at 4118 if you've never been here before. So go ahead and zone in, and over on the left you're going to run over and talk to Bran. Bran's going to start up the encounter, and what you're going to do is you can jump on one of these little bikes to get down quickly, otherwise you can mount up and ride down. But otherwise pressing the 3 button on the bike will give you a bit of a speed boost. You need to run in a straight line. You need to kill 2 bosses, Flame Leviathan and XT Deconstructor. So looking on our map, you zoned in down the bottom where the swirl is the instance portal. You've killed Flame Leviathan, you ran in a straight line, you killed XT Deconstructor, and then we're looking at the top left corner of this courtyard. In this rubble pile is where we need to head to next. So heading over to this rubble pile here, they have added a lever. Running over and hitting this lever is going to create a large grid of lighting in the middle of this courtyard. Now they're all white to begin with. When you click on them, they will activate green. So what you need to do is you need to make a large cog shape, which is symbolic for Mimron. Now Puju on the Secrets Discord community came up with this image, which made it really fucking easy. So all the black dots you can see on this image need to be turned green. So by clicking on these lights, they turn green. So all the black dots need to be made green. All the blue dots are the ones that you do not activate. So it's you can sort of see, if you look at it, it makes a cog shape for Mimron. So what I did was I traced my entire outline first. I then went and filled in all the middle. But you obviously do whatever you're comfortable with doing. Once you finish that, there's going to be 4 red lights in the middle, and in the middle of those is going to be your next clue, another inconspicuous note, which is 1,000 years imprisoned, surely it wears on the mind. This one is pointing to Cthulhu in Ahn'Qiraj, who was imprisoned for 1,000 years. So you've got 2 options here. One is that you can take the portal from New Dalaran to Caverns of Time and fly over. The other is you can go to Stormwind and take the portal to Oldham and fly across to Silithus that way. They're probably the 2 quickest ways to get across here. Ahn'Qiraj, or AQ40, is found in Silithus around 2588. Make sure you go into the right instance. You want to be in AQ40, not AQ20. And what you want to do is you want to run all the way to the end. Now I'm running past the last boss, Cthulhu's chamber now. I don't know if you have to kill him or not. I did for transmog purposes, and he takes 2 seconds to kill, but I don't know if you can just run past him like this, like I'm doing now to show you where it is, if you don't want to bother killing him. So running up to this altar, there's going to be a bug. Clicking on the bug is going to activate Bug Bejeweled, or Bug Jeweled. I am so funny. You can see when you click on it, this is how the maze sort of looks on your character. So you can move around with it and zoom in. Once you've played for long enough and get enough points, you will get your next clue. So the next clue, once you click on it, is going to say, Deeper Than Deep awaits your seat. And this one is pointing us to Deepholm. Now, we're going to skip sort of a step here and make this a little bit quicker. What we're going to do is we're going to head to the auction house and we're going to buy a Shadow Weave mask. Now, if you're a tailor, you can obviously craft one, though I imagine at the moment, if you don't have mats, that they'd be quite expensive. If you do have mats, by all means, craft one. Otherwise, you're just going to have to buy one. On my server, they were about 7.5k. So make sure you've got your Shadow Weave mask. We're heading back to Stormwind now, to our portal section. Next to the Oldham portal, you're going to find a Deepholm portal if you haven't been here before. So take the Deepholm portal, and then we're going over to the Crumbling Waste, which you'll find at 5825. So you're going to go over to the Crumbling Waste and you're going to fly into this cavern here. Now, this is pretty sort of one way. It's kind of hard to get lost here. Again, I haven't sort of tried to speed a lot up so you can sort of see it if you're not familiar with this content. But running through here, you can see there is a rockworm doing sick doughies around this sort of tunnel here. You need to make sure you don't get eaten by him. If you get eaten by him, it just spits you back out at the start. It's not a big deal. There is a little hidey hole here, but obviously we're trying to save as much time as possible because believe me, you are going to end up wasting a lot of it near the end of this process. So once we've ran through this little caravan area, come out into this new area, there is this green sort of pillar at the front. This next one, this white one here I'm circling around, is going to have a dark fissure that you can interact with. Click on the dark fissure, it's going to give you a little spiel about dropping into the fissure. Are you sure? You do. So accept that and you're going to drop into this deep cavern. Now this is why we have bought our Shadow Weave mask. If you didn't bring your Shadow Weave mask, there is a plaque on the back of this chair. You read it, it points you to Ratchet, which tells you their Shadow Weave mask, which then brings you back here. So what we've done is we've sort of skipping that step. We've bought our Shadow Weave mask here. Now to interact with this skull, you need to get naked to do it. So I have my weapons on here and I couldn't interact with it. I take my weapons off and I can. So the only thing I have on is my Shadow Weave mask. I then come up to the skull and I click on it and I'm going to get our next clue, which is the where the Shaded Delegate may appear. Now the Shaded Delegate is a reference to a rare spawn in Gnomeregan called the Dark Iron Ambassador. Excuse me. So it's off to Gnomeregan we go, we go now. So Gnomeregan, go to Ironforge, fly out the door and you can see where Gnomeregan is on the map. It's pretty easy to find this one. So you're going to come over here and you're going to fly down into Gnomeregan. There's a lift you need to take down first. If this giant sort of gold thing is closed, the entrance isn't sealed to you or anything, it's just the top of the lift. So just wait for that to come back up. The lift's going to go down and then you are going to run through this. Gnomeregan is quite confusing, so what I've done is I haven't tried to speed this up too quickly in the hopes that if you've never been here or you just started playing in Legion and things like that, that you don't get fucking lost and waste, as I said, more time doing this trivial stuff at the start when there is so many horrible things coming your way. So, running around here, there's sort of 2 instance portals you can see on the map. We're going to the left here, and we're going to zone into this one. Now, once we're inside Gnomeregan, you just sort of need to hug this left wall and you're going to run in a straight line and drop straight off the edge of the Halls of Gears here. So you're in the Halls of Gears, you've come in, you're going to drop straight off the edge and down into this next part here. So you can see there's 2 sections. We can go to the dormitories or this sort of tunnel-wise to go up to that large circle. We're going to run up to the tunnel. We're not going to drop down into the large circle though, but we're going to run up to this tunnel. So I've tried to speed this up as I did 3 takes before. I just talked way too much shit throughout this entire process because it goes for some time. This is a bit of a run. So I've tried to speed it up to make this a little better. So running all the way down here, as I said, don't drop off. Take a left at the launch bay here. You're going to take another left and go up into this tunnel. So you can see, if you've been following, sort of seeing on my map there, where we've gone. So coming out of this tunnel, you just need to run in a straight line, and over on the left wall there are going to be a bunch of lever machines. So you can see along the right wall there, to my right now, that there are a bunch of levers. So we dropped down here, we ran all the way up here, all the way along that tunnel system, and this is what the map looks like in here. So there's a plaque on the wall. If you click that, it comes up with all this binary stuff, which is related to the Priory of Scion, the Illuminati, pet battles, and a whole bunch of fucking ridiculous shit. And someone managed to solve it in the Secrets Discord community, so kudos to them. Clicking on these, you can see this console displays a number 1. You need to put these numbers into those consoles using the levers 1, 2, 2, 2, 1, 7, 6, 5, 9, 7. So they're all starting at 1. You need to go over and press the lever up until you get to each number along them. And all this will be in the description, so you don't need to sort of worry about that. But once you've completed that, they all close up and you will get your next clue. So your next inconspicuous note is going to read, "Games and toys are left behind when you awake screaming." So this one sends us off to Val'sharah. So we're hearthing, we're going to Val'sharah, and we're going to around 66-65. You'll find a hut. And in this hut, you're going to find a nightmare tumor over here on the left wall when you run in. So click on that and you're going to devour that like Daenerys in Season 1. And this is going to create a puzzle. So the puzzle, when you click on it, this is the view you get. Spin around, zoom in so you can look at it like this. It makes it a hell of a lot easier to solve. What you need to do is you need to have no intersecting lines in this. So you can sort of split them up, and once you don't have any lines crossing each other, you will complete the puzzle. It takes a bit of dicking around, but it really doesn't take that long. Once that's finished, you're going to get your next inconspicuous note, which says what you seek is buried within. And this is where things get AIDS. So we're going to head over to Kun-Lai Summit, which is in Pandaria, and you're going to go to 5349 in Kun-Lai Summit, where you're going to find the Tomb of the Secret. So flying in here, you're going to see a Mogu statue up the end, which has an urn between his feet. Now, if you run over and click on the urn, you're going to get a bit of dialogue. You're going to get this warning: you're about to consume the ashes of an evil sorcerer. There is no way to tell what will happen. Are you very sure you want to do this? You do, and you are teleported to the Endless Halls. Now, this is no joke. Now, some people have managed to finish this in 30 minutes, apparently an hour. I was in here for a fucking long time yesterday. Now, there are 5 colors. There are red, blue, yellow, green, and purple. And there are orbs. So what I just clicked on then, those flames, are the red orbs. I need to go through the maze and match that to the red rune. So there are 5 orbs and 5 runes. As I said, the colors again: red, purple, green, yellow, blue. So you need to take the red orb to the red rune. That is 1 done. You need to complete all 5. Now the maze is, I think it's either a 16 by 16 or an 18 by 18. It is in 3D though. It's not a flat. It has levels. I don't know how many levels it has, but it's absolutely fucking insane. Now, some people have been mapping them out. So I know Celestian put his up. This is how he mapped his maze out. I know Bellular did a similar thing as well. I tried using, so you can see on the right, there's an add-on I've got going on at the moment. I tried using this add-on, which is the Lucid Nightmare Helper. It's great for backtracking. However, sometimes you might try and go back to a room and it's sealed off with rocks. You can get teleported in the maze and switched around the wrong way as well. I would definitely recommend the Lucid Nightmare add-on, or the Lucid Nightmare Helper, for the Endless Maze. It is only really serviceable for backtracking though, because otherwise you can overlap your maze with the multiple levels, and then you kind of get fucked with it. For Demon Hunters, one thing to note: you can double jump and fell rush over the rubble. So you can see rubble blocking off one of the doors on my screen at the moment. You can actually fell rush and double jump over that. I got DC'd a number of times in the maze as well. That does not reset your progress, so if you're stressing about that, don't worry about that. If you log off, you will go back to the starting room of your maze. If you log off for a long period of time though, it will reset your entire process and you will have to start all your colors again. Now, when you finish your final rune, your final orb to rune, or whichever way you've done it, nothing will happen. So I just completed my final one then, and I was like, what the fuck? When you run into a new out of the room, you will actually be teleported into the final room. So don't have a heart attack when you finish it after spending hours upon hours in there. When you finish it, you'll go into this final room, you'll run over and you'll click on this last scroll for your last clue, which says, "The way is open to the greatest secret ever told, a fitting end to your journey." Now we're going to go over to Karazhan and we're going to go into the crypts to finally collect our mount. Now, it's not the 2 crypts at the front of Karazhan. You actually need to go past the summoning stone out the back. It's the crypts that you used to have to glitch in to actually get access to for the secrets videos and things like that. Now it is open if you've completed all these steps. So we're going to go all the way down into the crypts here and we're going to run through the crypts, and on a large pile of bones at the end is the Lucid Nightmare mount. And as I said, it was a fucking nightmare. Like, I spent so long in that maze yesterday. I was not one to track it. So when I went in there, I got 4 of 5 done fairly quickly in the space of around 2 hours, which is, quickly for that maze. I then got DC'd, logged back in and fell through the floor and had to hearth out, and I had to restart again. I spent 5 hours in that fucking maze yesterday. It was absolutely ridiculous. And I mapped out like sort of the earlier orbs, but I was solving them as I was going, which a lot of people said not to do, which I read up upon afterwards after checking forums when I'd finished, because you lose landmarks. The problem for if you're mapping it out, it's certainly, and you leave them all up, it will make it easier. But if you screw up one room, your entire map is fucked. So you really sort of need to be on point with it. And as you saw the way Celestian did it, I certainly did that with a couple of orbs, but towards the end, I just cracked the shits. I put Brooklyn Nine-Nine on Netflix and just ran around like a fucking idiot until I found it. But that is a good way to spend a lot longer in there. It is far better, I suppose, methodically to map it out. However, you have to go to that effort to do it. And some people just get really lucky too. Some people were in and out in 20 minutes. Other people were in there for an hour, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, whatever. So Do whatever you're comfortable with, but just know I fucking hated it, and you probably will too. So that is it, guys. It is a cool looking mount. I don't like its goatee, and it runs a little bit prancy, but otherwise it is a cool to look at mount, and if you're a mount collector, it's just something you're going to have to do. Full credit absolutely to the WoW Discord secret finding community. You guys are absolutely amazing. Like, this riddle was huge, and you guys did a hell of a job to solve it, so thank you very much for all your effort. To all of you going to get this, best of luck. Like, comment, subscribe. Thanks very much for checking out the video, guys. See you later.